Okay, I think we're live. Am I live? I think I am live. Welcome. First stream of 2019. I have made it clear that one of my goals for 2019 was to recommit to doing streams. There's been a lot of pent up demand for them, and people saying, I wish you would stream more. I wish you would do more live stuff, more playing against viewers in chess, which is funny when you get crushed because you're terrible. Which I will sometimes indulge people in, and all sorts of other stuff. So anyway, today's the first day back in the studio. We did a new show today. We did a new bonus show today, and I'm doing a live stream, and I'm going to talk about Elizabeth Warren. I'm going to talk about the shutdown. I may open up the phone lines. I may play chess against people in the audience. I don't know. We'll see what ends up sort of happening. In the meantime, let's see if I have all my stuff working. Here it is. Yes. Okay. If this is your first David Pakman Show live stream, this is actually live. So a lot of stuff goes on, which is cool because it's live. The best way to send questions and comments is to use the super chat function. And I will put those up on screen potentially, or at minimum, I will talk about them. I will answer your questions and read your comments. New members and patrons get live thank yous during the live stream. So if you sign up at davidpakman.com/membership or patreon.com/davidpakmanshow, you will get your name said, period. I mean, that's just as simple as it is. And please don't troll the chat, okay? Please don't troll the chat. If it's subtle and no one notices, okay. But there are moderators, and if you are obviously trolling or hating or pasting incredibly elaborate swastikas made out of punctuation symbols, as some people have figured out how to do, you will be banned, and the monitors are deputized. Now, you will notice, number 5, become a YouTube sponsor, get a shout out. You'll notice if you look at the chat, as I'm doing right now, that when some people post, they have very cool logos next to their names. That is because they are YouTube members, okay? YouTube membership is beta, and by that, I don't mean it's the alternative to alpha, like an alpha male or a beta male. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that it's a beta feature. Not every YouTube channel has it, and we are so beta that we are part of a sub beta test where we actually have 5 different tiers of YouTube membership. You hit the join button, you can be a soy boy for $1.99 a month. And anyway, it goes all the way up to $99.99 a month. I will also thank those people. So like if you're looking to get involved in this live stream, there are many, many ways to do that. Okay. I also have now the ability. So, but before we get started, I will say we should come up with some way to determine whether I either, number one, open up the phone lines for the show. Right now, the phone lines are closed. Sometimes during live streams, I will open up the phone lines and people can call in. Also, if people want, I will play a game or two of chess. I'm David Pakman on lichess.org. That's lichess.org. Last night, I was just casually playing, and I was matched up randomly with someone who said, I'm watching the David Pakman Show on YouTube right now. So I'm David Pakman on lichess.org. If you want to send challenges, you can do it, but I'm not necessarily going to play chess on today's stream. Maybe what we will do is the following. If Maybe we'll do it with Patreon contributions. If you want me to open the phone lines, make a Patreon pledge ending in 1 penny. So like $1.01, $2.01, whatever. That's a vote for phone calls. If you want me to do live chess against viewers, do a donation that is in O2. So pledge $1.02 a month or $2.02 a month at patreon.com/David Pakman Show. And if you just want me to do both, do an O3. Okay, so like $1.03 would be a vote for both opening up the phone lines and playing some chess. We'll give it till the bottom of the hour, so it'll be like a half hour of voting. Patreon pledge ending in O1 means phone lines only. Patreon pledge ending in O2 means chess only. And Patreon pledge ending in O3 means open the phone lines for a little bit and then play a couple games of chess. And I will communicate to you which is winning as we go here. Okay, so let's get right into some of the news, which I should be able to put up. Yes, here we go. Okay. You can now see the articles I'm looking at. There is every indication that this government shutdown, rather, is going to go on for a while. And Donald Trump has been sort of positioning himself as being the guy who's open to negotiation and the guy who, as soon as Democrats are ready to be reasonable, as he likes to say, meaning give them money to pay for a wall that Mexico was supposedly going to be paying for by now, then he will get the deal done to open the government back up. And it is not going too well. New Washington Post article, Trump falsely claims Mexico is paying for the wall and demands taxpayer money for the wall in a meeting with Democrats. So he, I guess today, in another sign that he, let's see if we can close these distracting ads, in another sign that he wants to appear reasonable, but is actually saying things that make no sense whatsoever. Trump had another meeting with Democrats. Democrats had a plan to reopen key parts of the federal government, as the Washington Post says. He's demanding $5 billion to build new walls. And walls is an important operative word there because these are sections of wall. Like the $5 billion would only cover a small fraction of that border. We know that the total border could cost total border wall could be 20 billion, could be 30 billion. Who even knows at this point? Doesn't even matter. It's a political football. He wants $5 billion to build new walls on the border. Democrats said, no, we're not going to do that. House Democrats are planning to put forward legislation that would reopen some parts of government, but would not provide money to Trump for the wall. And Trump said he wouldn't sign off on that measure. And meanwhile, Trump is still talking about how Mexico is at some point going to pay for the wall. How it's going to happen at this point, we don't really know. And I'll be, my biggest problem with these shutdowns, there's basically two problems with them. One is, if you are a so-called small government conservative who wants government doing as little as possible, you don't care if government is shut down. In other words, you don't want government doing stuff. So you might say it's a great thing that the government is shut down. Even if you say Trump is responsible, which he is, you don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. That's one problem that these shutdowns inherently have, which is there is one political movement in this country that wants the government doing as little as possible. So they don't even see, when we say who is to blame for the shutdown, who's responsible is almost a better way to say it. And they like that the government is shut down. So systemically, even if the shutdown is the fault of, the result of a Republican president or Republicans in the House or Senate, there are people who want it shut down for as long as possible. Number two, it's not even really a shutdown, right? That's another part of the problem, which is that by some estimates, only between 10 and 15% of government functions and departments are actually shut down when there is a so-called government shutdown. Elected officials still get paid. So much stuff is actually happening. So if instead, when there was a government shutdown, people stopped receiving Social Security checks, Medicare stopped accepting claims, elected officials didn't get paid. Elizabeth Warren, by the way, is donating her Senate salary during the time that the government is shut down. You would actually see outrage, and it would be much more difficult from people on the right who want small government to say, I don't care. Leave it shut down as long as they want, because I don't want government doing stuff. So that's a systemic problem with this shutdown. And it's one that unfortunately favors the right. It favors the right. It favors the government remaining shut down. And that is going to be a major problem for Democrats, particularly as they're sworn in and taking control, because whether or not blame shifts to them, and this has been a question, once Democrats take control of the House, even though it's ridiculous, will they start to be blamed for this shutdown, even though they had nothing to do, of course, with starting it? And even if they're not, there is a contingent of the American political world that wants the government to remain shut down. So this is a problem for Democrats, even though it's not actually their problem. And I don't know ultimately what's going to happen in terms of the timing of it, but Donald Trump is already playing coy to some degree of success. Okay, before we get to Elizabeth Warren, let me talk about some of the super chats that are coming in. You can send a super chat using the $ sign at the bottom of the chat window. On the table for this live stream I may open the phones and take phone calls if people want. I may play against people on leechess.org if people want to challenge me in chess. I'm not very good, but people seem to find it fun and funny when I play against people in chess from the audience and sometimes get crushed. Or do you want me to do both? We are voting via Patreon pledge, okay? Patreon.com/David Pakman Show. If you want me to open the phone lines, make a pledge ending in a penny, so $1.01, $2.01, etc. If you want me only to play chess with people in the audience, make a contribution ending in 02, $1.02, $2.02. And if you want me to do both, make a Patreon pledge ending in 03, $1.03, $2.03, whatever, and then I will do that. But before we get to that, let's get to some super chats. Platypie sends a $2 super chat saying just Happy New Year, everyone, much love. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kirk Wilcox sends a $2 super chat. What are your thoughts on Space Jam? Loved the movie Space Jam. But even better than Space Jam in terms of, I think, 90s basketball-themed movies, Blue Chips. Blue Chips with Nick Nolte and Shaquille O'Neal playing Louisiana basketball player Neon Bordeaux, and Penny Hardaway, and some white guy who I don't even know if he was actually a basketball player, but he played a basketball player from Indiana. That is one of my favorite fictional basketball movies. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Kirk, thank you for the super chat. GR in the house with a $2 super chat saying Pack DZ the G with free speech B. Love GR. Thank you, GR. Great to welcome 2019 with the incoherent rantings of GR. Dave with a $2 super chat saying Coney 2020. Yeah, warrants no response whatsoever, but I appreciate the support. Normal viewer for $1.99 says, finally, real news. Thank you. No, thank you, normal viewer, for your support. JHWH Gadol says with a €2 super chat, Happy New Year, loving your show from Vienna, Austria. Thank you. I'm actually looking at getting out to Vienna sometime in my life. I wish I could be more precise than that, but I can't right now. Martin Alejandrez for $1, no question or comment. Thank you. Bess Pay with a $2 super chat. Thoughts on the secret Pentagon UFO program? If it's secret, I wouldn't know anything about it, so I don't have any thoughts. And CJ, $5. What do you think is the best way to convert a Trump supporter? Assuming you mean how to convert them to progressivism or to stop being Trumpists, I really don't know. One piece of advice that I've given people who have called in saying, I've got Trumpist in my family, or last week we had a call on the Friday show, an Australian viewer who has a Trumpist, his girlfriend's parents are Trumpists. I said, you know, you need to consider what your goals are. If your goal is to take them from a full Trumpist to someone who's going to vote for Bernie, I don't really know how you do that. I think first you want to start disabusing them of maybe some of the false notions that they've integrated into their belief system about Trump. And the best way I believe to do that is to just ask questions, ask basic questions about what do you think are the reasons that Donald Trump was not able to accomplish X, for example. Or another one that I, over the weekend, a friend suggested to me is you ask people who virulently disagree with the position of their political opponents. You say, okay, I want to talk to you about this so that we're on the same page. What do you believe is the political position of your opponents, and why do you think that is their belief? So you at least are getting them to think. Let's say someone loves for-profit healthcare and they hate single payer. You can say to them, what do you think is the position of your opponents on this issue? What do you think is the position of those who want single payer? Why do you think they want it? And even if they give you completely misinformed and cartoonish views about the motivations of their political opponents, it's going to open the door to a conversation about, hold on a second, do you really think people want single payer because they're communists and they want the government controlling everything? Or do you at least think that they believe that it would get give people better health care. And if you can get them to concede that, if you can get them to say, okay, listen, I don't agree with single payer, but I do believe that the people who want single payer want it because they think it's the best way to get care to the people who need it. Getting them just to concede that is going to reframe it in their minds where, okay, I guess I'm not dealing with bad people on the other side. And then you can maybe say, are there places where that system has worked? And of course, if they say no, it's an opportunity to inform them. Well, actually, there are places where such a single payer system has worked. If they say, yes, there are, you've now gotten them to concede that their political opponents want single payer for a pretty good moral reason so that people get the care that they need. And you've gotten them to concede that it works in some places. Now, yes, they will immediately say, here's 10 reasons why it wouldn't work in the United States. And that's okay. You've already made some progress. So I think that that type of questioning that at least is not overtly judgmental is one of the best ways to not necessarily change minds, but at least get people to re-examine their beliefs. The other big story we talked about on the regular show today is that Elizabeth Warren is effectively running for president in 2020. And the formal announcement is that she is launching an exploratory committee. But she's been exploring this for some time. We know that. We know that the strategic release of those DNA test results were related to running for president. So effectively, unless something goes wrong, unless her exploratory committee finds something really bad, she's running for president. Latest news from just a couple of hours ago is that Elizabeth Warren has hired Iowa aides as well as top Bernie Sanders and Obama alums ahead of going to Iowa. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who announced Monday she's exploring a presidential run, is quickly assembling a robust and experienced team to lead a campaign in Iowa, an early signal of the outsized importance of a strong showing in the state. Emily Parcell worked for Obama in 2008, senior advisor to Hillary 8 years later in 2016. She is now working for Elizabeth Warren. Janice Rottenberg, an Ohio organizer for Clinton, working for Elizabeth Warren. Former Obama aide Tommy Viator called Parcell's hiring a huge, huge get for Warren, saying she's one of the best political staffers I've ever worked with and knows everyone in Iowa. So this is real. And for people who may not understand the significance of starting an exploratory committee, it lets you do two things. It lets you, number one, hire staff that is separate and distinct from her Senate staff that just works on the campaign. That's really important. And number two, it allows you to start raising money, which becomes part of the campaign money if you officially launch a bid for the presidency. So again, every indication that Elizabeth Warren is a serious contender. I already went over on the broadcast show today, question number one, what is the political consequence of Elizabeth Warren entering the race this early? And interestingly, we looked at what are the differences in policy and ideology between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. And if indeed Bernie Sanders decides to run for president, we are going to have a ton of time, just a ton of time to look at the minutia of where they differ on policy. But to summarize in 30 seconds what I did in more time, and you can look at it on our channel shortly on today's show, is that Elizabeth Warren comes from the world of law school and business, and let's tweak our capitalist system to be better for workers. That's her approach, which is sort of capitalism to social democracy is the way we could kind of couch it. Bernie Sanders instead comes from the world of more actually socialistic, let's totally reframe and restructure the means of production over into, well, more pragmatic would be social democracy. So they end up on the same policies in a lot of ways. They both support single payer. But on some issues, you can see how their worldviews differ. So on education, Elizabeth Warren wants to make it so that we maintain roughly the same education system that we have, except we make higher education more accessible to the most needy people. Bernie wants to pay for public college and university through government revenues, be it taxation or reallocation of existing funds. Both would be an improvement on what we have now, but they are different approaches. And we're going to have plenty of time, if indeed Bernie announces that he's running, to dig into that in more detail. Let's look at a couple of other super chats. Nick Spiropoulos sent a $9.99 super chat. Are you testing to see how many live views you get during the TYT live show? Good call. I actually did not know that I was competing with the TYT live show. I don't know when anybody airs. I have no idea, other than I know Sam Seder airs at noon Eastern, I think, because when we're out in Vegas at a conference that we go to a couple times a year, he always does the show at the same time, and it's 9 a.m. Pacific. So I think Sam's on at noon, but I had no idea TYT was on now. Alexander von Engelberg with a is it CHF? Is CHF Swiss francs? I think it is. What is your opinion of Sam Harris? I've talked about Sam Harris before. Big picture, I think that he's brilliant. I think that he brings very interesting discussions to the table on a wide variety of issues. He is no doubt an intellectual. Every time I talk about the intellectual dark web containing pseudo-intellectuals, people say, but Sam Harris, he's not a pseudo-intellectual, is he? No, he's not. He's an intellectual. I question some of the ways that he has given platforms less than critically to some bad ideas, including the Murray race and IQ bell curve stuff. But there's no question that Sam Harris is a thinker and an intellectual, and period. That's about it. Doesn't mean I have to agree with him about everything. Best Pay, $2 super chat. The New York Times reported on it last year, a program called AATIP. I guess that's referring to their first super chat about a secret Pentagon program on UFOs. I will look into that. Lene Reimer with a 20 Danish, is it Danish krone or kroner? I never remember. I was in Denmark, and what I recall is you divide by 4, I think, to get to dollars from Danish currency. So I think that's about $5. No question or comment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Martin Alejandres, Happy New Year, David. Talk about Trump's impeachment. Well, I'll talk about it if and when it happens. I think that there are a number of paths forward, but I do believe that Donald Trump's presidency survives 2019. I think that's the most likely scenario, and we addressed that on an audience question right before the end of 2018. Ace Tanaka with a $5 super chat. I used to be a right-winger Shapiro fanboy until I stumbled upon yours and Kyle's channel, and now I consider myself a progressive. Thanks to you guys. Thank you, Ace. I appreciate that. Antonio Lopez with a €2.29 super chat. Hi from Spain. Hola desde España. Un abrazo, saying again in Spanish, hi from Spain. Hugs. A hug. Thank you, Antonio. A. Smith with a $2 super chat. Who wins in a fight? I just scrolled past it. Hold on, this looked good. Who wins in a fight? Jimmy Dore or Michael Brooks after a stroke? Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore wins in that scenario. BizWiz, $4.99 super chat. The right hates it when artists and athletes speak about political and social issues like Eminem. Do you like it when artists use their platform for this? The right hates it when left-wing athletes and artists speak about political and social issues. I don't hear any complaints from the right about all the country music artists, not, of course, the Dixie Chicks, but many country music artists are conservative, and they say conservative things at their concerts, and the right doesn't give a shit because they only care about it when it's the left that's doing it. So I would correct you in that way. I am 100% fine with artists and athletes using their platforms for anything they want, and then the free market of ideas will determine whether they are punished for doing that. When you hear LeBron make political comments and people say he should just play basketball, well, if you're so offended by his political commentary, vote with your dollars and don't go watch him play anymore. And then if enough people do that, he might rethink whether he wants to be making political comments. I have no problem with it. Kanye West, don't agree with his Trumpian lunacy, but I have no problem with him saying whatever he wants about Trump. If he wants to do it at concerts, I've been to Green Day shows where Billy Joe Armstrong talks about politics. The people in the room don't like that he does that, or they don't agree with his political views, they don't go and buy tickets anymore. If Kanye's shows become political rants that people don't like, people won't buy tickets anymore. So I have no problem whatsoever. What I do have a problem with is when people are paid to, during a certain time period, be doing a particular job, right? So an athlete being interviewed after the game, they can say whatever they want, and then it'll be the network's decision to keep interviewing them or people's decision whether to go or not. When Al Michaels, right-wing football narrator, play-by-play guy, says during the 2004 election, after during a New England Patriots game here in Massachusetts, after the refs change a call, that they flip-flopped and we're in the right state for that, alluding to John Kerry being the then Democratic nominee challenger of George W. Bush for president, who had been successfully labeled a flip-flopper by the Swift Boat veterans and others. That is not appropriate because he has been hired by whoever it was at the time to do a political commentary. Now, should he be fired? That's up to his employer. I don't like that. And I don't like Al Michaels. And I don't pay attention to his commentary or anything that he has to say as a result. So that I don't like. I don't think that's the right venue for it. But ultimately, it's not my call to make. If his employer is okay with him using the venue for that, what can I do? I can vote with my eyeballs and put him somewhere else. Diego Murga with a $1.99 super chat. What's your opinion on the new Mexican president? I am very interested to see what he does in the country in terms of reforms. There are some real problems in Mexico right now, even more than before, with safety issues in parts of the country that previously were not quite as bad. The Cancun area is straight up bad. I was actually going to go in February, and I don't like to stay in these minimum security resorts where you can't leave. I like to be in the city. Every time I've been to Cancun before, I get out of the hotel zone and go into downtown Cancun, and I like doing that. And it doesn't really appear to be safe compared to what it was. And so I'm not going to go. I'm going to go somewhere else. Sinaloa is a no-go zone according to the State Department. I'm not saying it's a police no-go zone. I want to be careful. The U.S. State Department says simply don't go. Do not go to that region and many other regions that have admittedly been worse off for a while. So I hope that his populism translates to some reforms that are good for the country, because I just love Mexico. I love Mexican culture and the Mexican people, and I want to be able to go to all parts of Mexico without worrying. Jackson sends a $5 super chat. What is the strongest argument against single payer or Medicare for all? You know, I don't know of any strong arguments. I really don't. I think if the strongest argument, just like none of them are good. I guess you might have to wait for elective procedures longer than in the United States if you want to do them at the hospitals and providers that are part of the single payer network. But it's like, is that actually a bad thing? I don't know. It's hard for me to think of a good argument against single payer. Maybe the best argument is a lot of people would lose their jobs because you would eliminate a lot of bureaucracy, medical billing, and a lot of other stuff. And those people will need jobs in order to continue making money. But I think that's a solvable problem. Peace Harmony sends a $5 super chat. What do you think of Tulsi Gabbard for president? If you object, for what reasons? I don't know enough about her to object. From what I've seen, I saw like 10 minutes of an interview she did with Jimmy Dore, and she seemed to be going along with some really crazy shit. But I need to do more research into her to really say, but I'm not finding her super appealing. Like if you give me a choice between Warren, Bernie, or Tulsi Gabbard, she would be number 3 for me, for sure. The Lone Chemist setting the high watermark for super chats for today, 1999. I'm a video essayist and a massive fan of yours. In your opinion, what is the best movie depicting war? Making a somewhat political essay for my channel, and I'm looking for informed opinions. Keep doing what you do. I don't really watch war movies, so I couldn't tell you. I really, I couldn't tell you if you tell me, what are even some war movies? Pearl Harbor from the late 90s, early 2000s, whenever. Pearl Harbor versus Wind Talkers versus, I'm dating myself, I don't even know. I could not tell you. I barely watch war movies, and I unfortunately am the wrong person to ask, but I appreciate the support. Okay, let me mention that I got a bunch of challenges on lichess.org. And I'm willing to play a couple of games of chess against people in the audience, but literally nothing is happening on Patreon. And we were going to vote by Patreon. So maybe what we'll do is, let's see, because I'm getting a bunch of challenges and some that I would play. What about the following? Okay, so yesterday was the first day of the year. And we unfortunately, I talked about this last week. In 2018, we actually had a net loss of members for the David Pakman Show. And the reason that that was the case is we had Adpocalypse in 2017, where we lost like almost all our YouTube revenue for a while. And when that happened, we had this explosion of new members. A lot of those memberships expired in 2018, and some percentage of those subscribers had credit cards that expired. So we had more new members than ever in 2017. As a result of their expiration in 2018, we lost more members than ever in 2018. So we had a net loss of several hundred members last year. So yesterday, we launched a massive membership special. It will be the biggest membership special of the year, and there's 24 hours left on it. And it's a yearly membership for 2019, $20.19, okay? We had 106 people sign up yesterday. We had another 42 people sign up today. So we've had almost 200 new members sign up over the last 24 hours. If we can get 10 people from the stream, okay, there's 1,300 people right now. This is less than 1%. If 10 people right now go to davidpakman.com/membership, the coupon code is 2019, 2019. You've got to select the $60 per year membership. The coupon code only works with that membership, okay? davidpakman.com/membership. Yearly, $60 is where you set the slider. On the second page, you enter the coupon code 2019. This will drop the membership price to $20.19 for the year. If 10 people do that, okay, that's less than 1% of the people on the stream. I will accept a couple of these challenges. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 different challenges right now. Make them all 5-minute games. I don't want to bore people like crazy. I will play a couple of the games during the stream, but let's get those 10 new members in, and I think it'll be good. I might get crushed by some people. Okay, Kyle Pruim with a $1.99 super chat. What are your thoughts on a Warren Sanders team? I hesitate to talk about this too much, and the reason why is, on the one hand, I have been very clear that before the midterms, I wasn't going to talk about 2020. I think we have to focus on the immediate next thing, so to speak. And I didn't, and we talked about the midterms, and then now it's time to talk about 2020. I think that it's premature to talk about running mates yet when we don't even know who's running, and starting to talk about Warren Sanders or Sanders Warren or whatever. I don't really know what we gain, because it starts to get us into the type of thinking that got us 2016, which is the sort of calculating who and what is more electable, what's the exact right combination, and when should it be announced, and how will this or that. What I want to focus on right now is I am going to, each day that there is a new candidate, I will evaluate everybody who's running. I will compare their positions to my political positions, and I will say, this is the person that I support. If everybody on election day, primary day, goes out and votes for the candidate with whom they most agree with, and nobody stays home, because half of people stay home, even more in the primaries, we're going to be fine. Okay? So would I vote for a Warren Sanders ticket? Of course I would. Of course I would vote for a Warren Sanders ticket. But is this the time to start evaluating that ticket versus another one? I don't think so. Art Flores is back. Great to see Art. Oh boy, I can barely even keep up with these because there are so many super chats. And by the way, memberships are starting to pour in. We're looking for 10 new members using the 2019 discount code. and then I'll play a couple games of chess against people challenging me on Lichess. Art Flores, it's inevitable that there will be a film based on Trump and his administration. Which do you find to be more fitting, a drama or a comedy? Also, your birthday's coming up. Are you fine with fans sending gifts? No gifts, please. If you're thinking of sending a gift, send a super chat, get a membership, make a pledge on Patreon, because 2019, the project is, I am turning 35 this year. The project is grow the show as much as possible as a platform to crush it in 2020 when we actually have one of the most important elections of my life. So if you're interested in sending a gift, no gift. If you really want to do something, support the show. That's the best thing you can do. I think that the Trump film should be a drama, and it would be a very, very, or maybe a dark comedy. I don't know, but it shouldn't be a rom-com style movie for sure. Platypi with a $5 Australian super chat. David, you're very intelligent. I'm sure you already know this, but did you know that you're also very attractive? 10 out of 10 would bang. Smiley face. Okay, please don't turn the last 5 seconds of the stream into some kind of meme, because it could be my undoing. The Doomsday Channel, $5 super chat. I make fun of those conspiracy channels that constantly say the economy will collapse next week. Okay, thank you for letting us know. Baron Steuben, what is your opinion of Mexican President Obrador? I actually just did a few minutes on that, so I don't want to do it again. Joe Rader, $5. David, you follow space and science news. Did you hear about Ultima Thule? Very exciting news. Tremendous, believe me. I don't know what that is. Ultima Thule. Let's see what that is. A trans-Neptunian object located in the Kuiper Belt, or is it Kuiper? It's a contact binary with estimated dimension of 35 by 15 kilometers, consisting of a larger body 3 times the volume of the smaller. I will look into it more. Sounds interesting. I love space-related stuff. Seamus K, $9.99 British pounds. Are we just going to forget about the time David promised to release nudes when he reached a dollar target? Can we make this a thing instead of YouTube beta? Make this a thing again. I never promised to release nude pictures. Lewis, former producer Lewis, may have promised to do topless, but he was topless on the show once when he changed shirts during the show. So that's not happening. Mads Base with a 20 Danish kroner super chat. Did you ever hear from Reza Aslan? You the man, by the way. I have never heard from Reza Aslan. No. Miravis with $5. How did you feel when Jesse Lee Peterson said alpha males are conservative because your face was priceless? I felt that the entire thing was just ridiculous, and I treated it as such. Fred Phlogiston with $1 euro super chat. No question or comment. Thank you. Far Out Ideas. FYI, you have a light reflecting on the monitor. Yeah, you know what it is? I have a monitor over here, and it reflects on the monitor behind me. And normally I don't have it up, but I need to see the new members that are coming in. And by the way, we're about to get some chess challenges, because I said if we got 10 new members, I would play chess against a few people on Lichess. And Pujan Baral, Jeremy Quagang, who else do we have here? Gita Brawl. They're going so fast I can barely see them. Yuko Nohara, Evan Eggard, Maxton Yanoni, Joseph Armbruster, Jack Simpson, Michael Kristoff, Trent Tanner. Wait, is that 10? I think that's 9. We're very, very close. If we don't have 10 new members, we're about to. And then I will minimize that monitor. I won't have to look at it anymore. And I'll play a game of chess or two. I see, man, a bunch of challenges. Stay by your computer, because I feel like the challenges are going to happen soon. Okay, a couple other super chats. The Observer, $5. Do you think Stefan Molyneux is pushing eugenics with his race and IQ agenda? He talks about you a lot. I am not aware of Stefan Molyneux talking about me at all. So if anybody has clips, I know that he's been tweeting about me, but if Stefan Molyneux has any video, if anyone has video of Stefan Molyneux talking about me, email me, david@davidpakman.com, links and time codes, because I would love to see that. And is he promoting eugenics? I don't know. Is he promoting white white supremacy, yes, he absolutely is. Fred Phlogiston says, you are astonishingly normal by European standards. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. Baron Steuben asks, are you planning on watching the Women's World Cup? Probably. I'm going to watch at least some of it. And Nate says, David, do you like any hip hop? If so, which artist? I do. I mostly like older hip hop. I like Tupac, Run DMC. Yeah, I don't know. It's mostly all older stuff, and then newer Latin hip hop. Many of you might be surprised to hear. Okay, Mark DeTavio and Ann Kennedy just signed up for memberships at davidpakman.com using the coupon code 2019, which, by the way, drops a $60 membership to $20.19. So why don't I do what I promised and play a couple of chess games against people in the audience? Let me get set up for this. And I'll just go, we'll get back to politics, but I'll just do this since I promised to. War Doge and 5 minute and Obst 5 minute. All right, let's see if War Doge is still there. And we'll see. Provisionally rated way higher than me. Of course, as you can see, my rating only 1161. Let's see how I do here. King's Pawn opening, followed by bringing the knights out. So far, nothing too confusing for me. Bringing the bishop out. All right, I'll just keep developing here. Bishop not pinned because of my pawn on d7. I will now bring the pawn out. Now my knight is pinned, at least temporarily. Now his knight is pinned to the queen. I will not keep that. Feel like I just have more space here. Whoop, that is not the right arrow that I meant to draw. I have more space this way by putting the bishop where it is now. All right, of course, now this other bishop is trapped. What am I doing next? I might could fianchetto the bishop. I'll just bring the bishop out. Look to castle next. I hope, by the way, that they're not watching the stream. It would be sort of unfair, although hopefully there's enough of a delay that they're not actually able to react to what I'm saying I might do. I think I'll keep pushing forward with the pawns here. The bishop is now stuck because he played b3. I'm guessing he'll take that pawn with either the bishop or the knight. He did, and I will take the bishop. Okay, I think I will. Do I attack that knight, or do I create some space for my bishop this way? I think I do attack the knight. And then if this bishop moves, I could eventually try to put this bishop here, maybe, although I don't know if that's particularly useful. If I go here, takes it, could go here. Might work. Down on time a little, but not a huge factor right now. Also could take with my bishop. Okay. Take this way. Didn't account for that. Did not account for that. Where do I go next? Maybe try to get the... I don't want him putting his knight here, because then I'm triple forked and I have no way of attacking. So maybe I will go here to prevent that first, although then I'm kind of giving away this pawn. That's not a great idea. Maybe I'll go here instead. Already getting a little dicey for me. Maybe that was a good move. Maybe I accidentally stumbled upon a good move there. Still forking there, but if he takes this bishop, still got nothing. I've got to defend that. Man, that is not the ideal situation. Where do I go? Do I just take this pawn? Then he takes here. I'd rather him take the rook and then I take his knight than take this bishop But I can protect both here, except I can't. Maybe I'll go here. Yep. So I am down now. It's starting to get very, very ugly. Take back. Oh, man. Where do I go next? This bishop is kind of blocked on this side. He takes it. It's also not currently defended. If I move it here, it's under attack. Maybe I'll just attack his rook and force the rook to move. All right, he's at least thinking. That's something. I am going to lose this game, but at least it's something. Okay. Could attack this rook, but then his knight would take my bishop. What's my best next move? Maybe to kick the knight away. Then I could attack this rook, depending on where his knight moves to. Still attacking here. I think I can, and then I'm forking the knight and the rook. I think this is a good move for me, right? This is where I'm missing something, and this is a terrible move. We'll find out soon. Took that, and now is attacking the queen. So that may be okay. Maybe I go here and attack the rook. Although I can't take it because of the pawn. Is that really useful? Am I better off here? I could attack both of them right here. Yeah, let's try that. Now see if he moves the rook. Although he's got check right here. Yeah, missed that move. And now I have no choice but to move my knight away. He'll take, but I can take back. Unless he doesn't want to. He does. Attacking both rooks at once is not a bad thing. Interesting position. Still probably losing horribly for me. Actually, he's having to think about this one for a while, which is better than not, I would say. If this rook moves, it would be great to be able to attack in this direction somehow. Maybe by, not even sure, really. Maybe doubling up. Well, that rook moves, I would probably take this one, and then the queen would take it. That one did move. I think I take the rook, right? Then the queen takes. Now where do I go? Do I attack the rook again? Can't move here. This is the real threat right here, which is actually mate in one. So I think I need to do something about that. I need to defend that square. And what is the best way to do it? Is it this? Maybe so. Can't think of any other obvious way other than with my queen. Not actually getting crushed as badly as it seemed like it was going to happen there. By the way, I see members pouring in over here. Okay, so he's kicking the knight away, but that's okay because I can go here, and if he doesn't notice, then I can fork the king and rook there, although I would guess he would probably be able to prevent that. In any case, I'm immediately attacking this pawn, which isn't a terrible thing. Let's see what he does. And of course, if he's watching the stream, he knows exactly what my strategy is. He's either got to put me in check or move either the rook or king, or, and there it is. So now preventing that fork. So what do I want to do next? Maybe, do I want to use the rook? Whoops. And I accidentally misclicked, and that was not what I meant to do. Okay, but now I've got, still can't do that, and now he has broken beyond this. That was a really bad misclick. Okay, so this would still be, he's attacking. I guess I should try to defend this knight. Yeah. Let's see how this goes. Wish I hadn't misclicked there and starting to get low on time. So he wouldn't take the knight because then I take the queen. He goes here. That's now defended. In that sense, that was a good move, but that's the only sense. Now, what about check over here, which would force the knight down here, or the king there? But then what? Then what do I do? If I go here, that's not good. Here, maybe I try to attack the queen this way. But I need a second defense here. That's the issue. If I go here, he takes, I take, and then I lose the queen. That's not good. I think I'm just going to have to go this right here. And I'm very low on time at this point. Even if that was an okay move, I am just so low on time now that I don't know how I can recover from this. I guess I take, let's try the check. I don't even know. I mean, it's at least forcing something. And then I'll move back, try to gain a little time. Yeah, this is not looking good. That was a really bad move, although not here. Oh boy, I have no idea at this point what to do. Yep, I just ran out of ideas. I completely ran out of ideas there. Good game. Appreciate that. Thanks to everybody who has been continuing to send super chats. Let me get to some of these super chats here. Okay. I may play one more game. I'll play one more game. I'll go till 7 with super chats. If people want me to play one more game, I will. But there are so many super chats here that I want to get to them. Akil Vamula, 20. Can't tell what that is. 20 something. I don't recognize that currency symbol. Fred Phlogiston with €2 saying simply compliment. Henrik Fredriksson, 50 Danish kroner. Come to Denmark, do your show on our welfare healthcare system so that more Americans get to understand that Bernie's way is the only way for you. I was recently in Denmark and I absolutely loved it, although it was acutely and painfully expensive. And I live in Boston, Massachusetts, so that's saying a lot. Hardgrease St. Cosmo sending a 25 Swiss franc. I believe it's Swiss francs. Super chat. Hey, David, according to Ray Diallo, it's actually Dalio, I believe. The global economy today is very similar to the 30s, and the tensions U.S.-China resembles U.S.-Japan just before World War II. Do you see World War III coming soon? I don't see World War III coming soon in any of the ways that would resemble wars, World War I and World War II. I think World War III at this point would be a very different thing than World War I and II. Nana Jockle with a $2 Australian dollar 99-cent super chat, 550. Good shows, David. Regards from Australia. Okay. Raffen Steingrimson, $5 super chat. Opinion on freeing Americans from mandatory car ownership by abolishing zoning, building walkable mixed-use neighborhoods with public transit. Yes, I have an interview about this. I forget the guest's name, and I forget the guest's name of the book that we talked about. But yeah, absolutely. Zoning as well as commercial design and a whole bunch of other stuff has created such acute problems when it comes to the way in which car ownership in many places is a necessity. I mean, mandatory is maybe a step further than I'd go, but it is no doubt a necessity to live a sort of remotely normal life where you do normal things. So yes, absolutely and totally. I got to do more thank yous because so many people have been signing up with our coupon code 2019, which gives you a yearly membership with $20.19. Joaquim Schaefer, Roberto Milan, thank you. I think I actually named a lot of these other people. So some of these I'm getting duplicate emails here. Okay, I've got to actually go back. Barbara Mahaffey and Michael Jelinek. Did I already thank Michael Jelinek? I'm not sure. Mark King, Patricia Bennett, Robert Fraser, and Ailing Prater. I hope I pronounced that correctly. What a flood. I mean, truly, what a flood of new members during this live stream. Really very much appreciate it. And just amazing. Absolutely amazing that this is what's going on today. We have, okay, so long form pieces. We have a long form piece upcoming about conspiracy theories. It's not going to be an attack on conspiracy theorists themselves. I know that there are people in our audience who don't like that. They feel that I am unfairly attacking conspiracy theorists. I attack bad conspiracy theories. But we are going to do a long form piece on conspiracy theories, which will talk about how conspiracy theories work in terms of the psychological and the way in which both evidence and absence of evidence becomes part of the conspiracy, and how that makes the conspiracy indefeasible. In other words, you can't defeat a conspiracy that is based both on evidence and absence of evidence being evidence for the conspiracy. And I may not be explaining that in the clearest way. That is upcoming and very exciting. We are going to be producing that long form deep dive in partnership with former TV director Natan Pachman, who now has his own YouTube channel, Natan's Notes. We are going to be co-producing that long form piece with him, which is just great. And more on that coming very, very soon, as well as a lot of other stuff. Okay, just because I said I would do 2 chess challenges from people in the audience, let me do one more here. Let's see what we've got. Notifications. Someone says they would appreciate a challenge. Let's go with, what will I go with here? The one that was here the earliest was, yes, it was this one. So I will play against this person. This will be a good way to wrap up the stream, and I will go first. I will try the Queen's Gambit and see how they play. And this could be another embarrassing loss for me. But you know what? When you lose, you still learn. Okay, playing Queen's Gambit declined. I actually don't exactly remember this line, but I will go ahead and try to now develop. Let's see how we do. And please, if you're playing against me, turn down the volume on the stream. It seems that it's unfair to me to continue listening to the stream while we play. Okay, let's attack the queen and either force the knight to move or move the bishop back or the queen to move. Going with the bishop. Now I may actually take this pawn. I don't actually know this line. If I take back, doesn't seem logical. Let's go here. And I will bring the bishop out. And now no point in retaining that pin, but if I move back here, I guess I could move. Do I move back and then take if the bishop takes? Or do I just move back? Then I could get stuck on the king side. Yeah, I'll move here and then take if he takes. And he did. All right. This is clearly a much better player than me, by the way, just in case anybody can't tell. Although I think you probably could tell. Okay, let's see. Looking for fork ideas here. Could go here. If doesn't take, it doesn't work. Here and then here would be interesting, except that then the bishop takes, so that's not a good idea. This is defended. Well, could defend that twice. Maybe I'll start pushing the pawns up on the queen side a little bit. It's playing very quickly, which scares me. Every time I see that, I assume the other person's way better than me, which in this case they are. All right, maybe I will put the queen and rook lined up, although then I'm eliminating a backup square for my bishop. He clearly has an idea of what he wants to do, and I don't. That's the interesting thing. Although this fork idea now works because the bishop is blocked, although he moved it out of the way, which was smart. And actually the queen can access that as well. So that maybe that never worked. Let's see. Maybe I'll go here. And if he takes with the knight, I can use one of my pawns to take. Which one is more advantageous, though? Seems probably this one. I keep more space, I think. So what are the threats here? Here I would just take. Here I would take. This is the one, because this one I would not. Oh, no, I can use the queen still. And here I don't know that I'm that worried about that knight, but that's because I'm clueless. What else could I do here? If I play here, takes this way and then that way, but I'm not. No, that doesn't really make any sense. Do I just exchange here? I mean, is that an idea? Maybe I move here, and then maybe if there's an exchange, he would blunder the queen. I don't know. Doesn't seem super likely the way that this person is playing. Right. So that's not a threat. That's not a threat right now. This is not defended, however. So do I want to defend that pawn, or do I not care about that pawn? I think I do need to defend it, which I will do, I think, this way. Yeah. So now this pushes forward. Both my queen and the knight would be attacked. So maybe I need to get this knight out of the way. I think I will do that. Because now, if the pawn comes forward, right, and there's that fork. The exact fork I was worried about before. Okay. Guess I go here. Takes here, then I take back. And potentially this is an idea at some point. Interesting. Defending that. Maybe now I start moving this way. Is this a terrible idea? Someone tell me. I'm about to get blindsided by some kind of incredible move. I'm thinking here if it's a free pawn, although, right. So I go here. That gets my queen out of the way. So what is possible now? This is trapped. That's good. Blocking that move. Maybe attack the queen. Could get the queen trapped. Do I guess I just trade queens here. My position is not particularly good. So I guess I trade queens and then start to get some other kind of attack going. And I'm quite low on time. Maybe try to double up here. And defend there. Probably need to start pushing some pawns forward, right? So that's blocking. This fork looks great, except I lose the... Do I want to exchange? Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I just try to exchange right here. Except now I lose this rook. This is why I'm terrible. Some free pawns available. But then that is probably checkmate. Guess I'll take it. Okay, so if I go here, then the king goes there. Is that pointless? I guess I'll just take the pawn for now. I have a second left, so this is going to end very shortly, not with me winning. Thanks for playing me, by the way. Appreciate it. All right, that is it. I lost on time. Okay, thank you very much. I got a couple games in. We got a ton of new memberships in. Let me look at the last couple of super chats here before we wrap. Baron Steuben says, Pat 2020. Pat will not be old enough to run for president in 2020. All right, thanks everybody for joining me. Thanks to all the new members. I will do more streams in 2019, and I'm starting strong on January 2nd. Thanks. New show tomorrow. Talk to you soon.